So the teaser for the Chris Hemsworth Netflix movie Extraction 2 was just released, and it looks great. So I thought we'd take a quick look back at the first movie, which was released at the height of craziness back in April 2020, that I think kind of got overlooked in favor of Tiger King, the Michael Jordan documentary, and this guy right here. Whoa, eyes up. When we're done, we can take a peek at the teaser and see what's what. Let's go. Extraction was released back in April of 2020, and I realize it feels like we've all lived about 15 lifetimes since then, but if you do remember it, most of us were stuck indoors thanks to governmental policies regarding the virus which must not be named. In addition to making mask and hand sanitizer makers rich, we were watching a metric shit ton of crap on TV. For some reason, Tiger King seemed to capture everyone's attention, which was released on Netflix on March 20. A month later, The Last Dance, the exceptionally good Michael Jordan documentary, was released every Sunday starting on April 19. 7 days later, on the 24th, we got Extraction with Chris Hemsworth. I think it mostly got missed with everything else going on and being consumed, which is really too bad because it was a blast. Extraction is based on the 2014 graphic novel Ciudad by Andy Parks and Joe and Anthony Russo, who you'll know from their work finishing up things in the best section of the MCU with Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame to their credit. Extraction is the story of Tyler Rake, an Australian mercenary that's hired to do things others won't dare. In this case, he's been hired to rescue the teenage son of an Indian drug lord captured and held for ransom by a rival drug lord located in the city of Dhaka, Bangladesh. Even though this assignment looks nearly impossible, Tyler takes it and assembles his team and makes plans for the extraction. I'm not going to pretend this is a deep movie with some complex plot. It isn't. This is a straight-up action movie with tremendous individual fight scenes, car chases, and enough explosions to make John Rambo jealous. It's not to say there's no heart. There is. As you can imagine, even though Tyler comes off harder than nails, he takes to the young boy almost instantly, and because of his own tragic backstory that you assume he has to have, ends up doing everything and more to ensure the boy lives and gets back home. There's also a bit of levity thrown in, but it never becomes what's been so common recently, where movies sort of wink at their own genre. You know what I mean? It respects what it is, and respects that's what you wanted to see when you tuned in, and for that they deserve thanks. Without going into a blow-by-blow recount of any of the fight scenes, I will give some special attention to a few of them. The first time you get to see Rake in action when he arrives to rescue the boy, alone, is both brutal and breathtaking. There's a hand-to-hand fight with a former Indian Special Forces officer in the street, which is fantastic as well. The standout, though, is a nearly 10-minute car chase as Tyler attempts to escape with the boy with some of the best camera work you'll ever see. It's obviously not, but it's shot to appear as mostly a single cut and really keeps you on the edge of your seat. I'd also like to point out that the movie was filmed on location in Thailand, India, and Bangladesh, which just looks better. So if you're sick of having to pretend you can't tell the difference between CGI being vomited at you even when not necessary and what the real world looks like, you're in luck. From what I understand, the graphic novel and the movie differ in a few big ways. The graphic novel is set in Paraguay, and instead of being hired to rescue a teen boy, Tyler is hired to rescue an 18-year-old girl. Now, I've never read it, but looking over some of the reviews, many seem to prefer the movie to the novel, making it one of those rare occasions when a movie adaptation may have been better than the source materials. I wasn't able to find any official reason for the location change from Paraguay to Bangladesh, but if my Netflix feed is any clue, I have to assume this was to create something that could tap into that gigantic market of Southeast Asia. Chris Hemsworth completely carries this movie and is in nearly every scene. Obviously, we've all watched him essentially become Thor over the past decade, but other than that, he's not really landed anything else where he can shine. I'm not sure why. I mean, is it management or just refusing to say no to anything? He's been stuck in some god-awful movies which were just terrible, through no fault of his own. Hopefully this changes because the guy is too funny and talented and good at what he does to not make a huge impact. When watching Extraction, it's hard not to imagine the kind of action star he'd have been in the 80s when they knew how to use a guy like this. Maybe once he finally hangs up his hammer and walks away from the dumpster fire that the MCU has become. Here's hoping. So if you haven't caught Extraction on Netflix, get that taken care of ASAP. Think John Wick-style fights with a bunch more realism like the Chris Pratt series The Terminal List on Amazon Prime. If you've been craving old-style action movies, this is what you've been looking for. Which brings us to the teaser trailer for Extraction 2. Even though it was left vague as to whether or not Rake lived at the end of the first movie, well, this clears that right up. He looks to be back on the job and breaking out a young woman from some kind of jail cell. We cut to what looks like a prison riot in the snow, so maybe Russia or Eastern Europe maybe. The woman is yanked away from Tyler and he's smashed in the head with a brick. Dazed, we see and hear flashbacks to the first movie and hear his female partner Nick telling him that he'd been clinically dead 9 months ago but fought his way back for this. As he gathers his wits again, he begins beating the absolute dog shit out of everyone around him. As he uses a shield to bash people with, a Molotov cocktail is tossed at him and it explodes on the shield, which bursts into flames. Rake drops it and his right arm is on fire, which he just ignores and then proceeds to pummel guys with it.
Holy shit!
But wait, there's more. After the title card, we cut to Rake on top of a train in the snow where he shoots down a helicopter with a fucking minigun. Amazing. Now, I have no clue how Netflix allowed this to get made, but who cares? This is a must-watch, and hopefully the movie does the teaser justice. This drops on June 16th, the same day as DC pulls its pants down and drops the Ezra Miller-led Flash. There's no question I'm going to be at home watching Hemsworth tear it up in Extraction 2 over that. You might want to consider doing the same. Or don't. I am not the boss of you.